Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, Bahala, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahshai, Ba'Shem, Rakwakadash. The blood and state head apostles of Great Millstone at Ruwell. Peace and salutation. First and foremost, Bahala, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahshai, Ba'Shem, Rakwakadash. The blood and state head apostles of Great Millstone at Ruwell. Peace and salutations to the Yakim out there on the highways and byways, north and east, world abroad, all around the world. Now, as you can see, the time draws nigh. You know, the time is now drawing nigh. You know, you see in cases of the coronavirus taking place, you know, over there in China. Now it's done made its way over here, you know, to the United States. I was just reading an article earlier saying that there's a case has been detected that somebody with the coronavirus has been tested positive here in Massachusetts. You know, so that coronavirus is all over the place. It's starting to spread all over the place, you know. And these are the times that we're living in. And not only that, simultaneously you got earthquakes and famines in diverse places, like the Lord said, you know. Because he said that there'll be earthquakes and famines in diverse places, and this is what you have. This is what you have going on in the world today. You know? And the Lord said these are the beginning of sorrows, and let me get that. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and the disciples came to him to show him the building of the temple. And Jesus said unto him, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take ye that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. You see? And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Aren't we hearing about wars and rumors of wars that are taking place, you know, over there in the Middle East? You know, with America and Iran? Aren't we hearing these wars and rumors of wars taking place? Absolutely. You know, all these Middle Eastern countries, you know, we're hearing of these things, these wars and rumors of wars. And these things are coming to pass, surely but surely, simultaneously at the same time. So, See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. And there shall be famine, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. Are we seeing these pestilence taking place, you know, with this coronavirus? You know, that's plaguing China right now. Not only just China, but globally, worldwide, you know. There's just been a case of somebody having the coronavirus here in Massachusetts, you know. Yeah, there's just been a case that somebody here in Massachusetts already has the coronavirus. It doesn't take too long for that thing to spread, and it's spreading like wildfire. And another thing too, Trump just ordered, travel bans, from any Chinese entering the United States. And that's gonna be initiated tomorrow. That's gonna be in place tomorrow. Where you got the DJ Trump ordering travel bans from Chinese from entering the United States because of this coronavirus, And there's just been an article released, by Bill Gates saying that, that they want to kill this, that 30 million people will be killed within 6 months of this disease. And he was talking about that coronavirus, 30 million people. And you know what he said? He gave a lecture that he wants to depopulate, he wants to start depopulation, because there's too many people on the earth. So this coronavirus is set up to depopulate the earth. And it's in one of their, in the Georgia Guidestones, and one of their top commandments is reduce the earth's population under 5,000, under 500,000. So these things is all done by design. But ultimately it's of the Lord, it's of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Because this is what he prophesied. This is the prophecy that we're living in. These are the prophecies. These are the prophecies that we're living in. Where the Lord said that these things will come to pass. And surely but surely they are coming to pass all together simultaneously at the same time. So don't expect things to get any better. It's going to get a whole lot worse from here on. So let me jump down to verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Because there's sin in the world, there's too much sin in the world, the love of many shall wax cold. That's why you're seeing there's no love in the earth today. There was just a report today that there was a shooting down in Florida at a funeral, where 2 people died of that shooting. So you best believe the love of many is waxing cold. Why? Because of sin and iniquity. And what's the ultimate sin that's being progressed here? It's the sin of homosexuality. And that blasphemous image of Caesar Borgia. Because of these sins, the love of many is waxing cold. Nobody has love for each other anymore. Nobody cares about nobody no more. It's all about them. It's all about me, myself, and I. A dog-eat-dog world, world eater mentality. That's what you have in this world today. So, reading on. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And this gospel is being preached into all the world as a witness, because how is it being preached? VI through the internet, This word is going out through the internet, and brothers are waking up all over the world from hearing this word. Brothers all over the world is hearing this word and is getting this word. This is how this word is being preached throughout all nations. You know, this is how this word is getting out there. So, reading on. Hold on, let me jump to another precept here. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 1. Behold, speak into the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So the Lord said, speak into the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which ye shall put in our mouth. You know, because this is not our words that we're speaking out of our own hearts, but this is the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and we're speaking it into the ears of the people, the words of prophecy. Because what are the prophecies, you know, that we're speaking? Just like I read earlier in Matthew's the 24th chapter, you know, these wars and rumors of wars, these earthquakes, these famines in diverse places, and pestilences, you know, like I stated, there's just been a case here in Massachusetts that somebody got the coronavirus, you know, that tested positive for the coronavirus here in Massachusetts, you know. So these are the words of prophecy that we're speaking. Because somebody just been tested positive that somebody got the coronavirus here in Boston, Massachusetts. And that's a pestilence. All right. Reading on. That I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not thy incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in thy unfaithfulness. See, the Lord said, all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, you know? Because if you don't believe that these troubles are going to take place in America, you know, if you don't believe that America is going to be destroyed by a way of thermonuclear destruction, then you're just going to die in your unfaithfulness. If you don't believe that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, you're going to die in your unfaithfulness. You know?
You don't have a light, do you?
No, I don't have a light, unfortunately.
After I find one, I'd love to talk.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you know, did you know that, you heard about the coronavirus? You know that somebody in Boston, Massachusetts that just tested positive that they have the coronavirus?
Yeah.
You know? Well, that thing, what it does, it mutates and it can spread mad quickly. You know? And not to mention, you know, Bill Gates, you know, he said back in, I think back in 2018 that this virus that's going to come is going to kill 30 million people and it's going to start from China. You know, Bill Gates said that.
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, he said that.
Making a lot of money off that.
Yeah, he said that. Yep. He's a part of that whole, you know, scheme. You know. So we're in the midst of that right now, and that's prophecy. That was written 2,000 years ago by Jesus, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I grew up Catholic and that's scientism, totally away from Catholicism. But there's so much truth in the book that, I mean, stuff that blew my mind that I couldn't believe were true about life.
Yeah.
Which you get ostracized for, crazy, whatever.
Yep.
Truth in there.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I don't know. I'm not like completely convinced like of the Bible, but the Bible definitely not just the Bible. All ancient cosmology is the root of our earth is the whole system that
Exactly.
His divine creation.
That's right. And another thing with this coronavirus over there in China, you know, in the city of Wuhan, well, where that thing started, there's like 60 million people now that there's curfews, there's martial law, nobody's in the streets.
Yeah, I
you know?
heard that, like 10 cities.
Exactly. Yep.
quarantined.
So nobody's in the streets right now. But that's gonna what's going on, brother? But that's gonna come over here in America because that's just martial law right there. You know, pretty much it's a ghost town. People are quarantined. People are getting quarantined in FEMA camps. You know, and now that that disease done made its way over here to the United States, you know, it's only a matter of time they're gonna do the same thing over there.
Yeah,
And that's
like
gonna
you said, the microchip.
exactly.
We already have a social credit system here.
That's right. That's just gonna pave the way for people to receiving that RFID microchip. And not to mention, British, the United Kingdom, that left the EU, the European. They just left. They're no longer a member of the EU no more.
Right.
And that's going to play a major role in collapsing the financial system, you know? Because NATO and the EU are partners, you know.
Yeah.
So that's another major prophecy that's also taking place that was spoken of in Daniel's the second chapter in the 41st verse. You know. So everything is simultaneously happening all at once. You know, you got earthquakes off the coast of Jamaica. That was a 7.3 earthquake that happened off the coast of Jamaica. You know, like 3 weeks ago there was an earthquake in Puerto Rico, and then you had another earthquake that happened in Turkey. So everything is happening all at once simultaneously. You know, not to mention you got famines. You know, lack of food.
Yeah, the powers that be aren't really holding back anymore. They're just going full throttle.
Exactly. So prophecy is coming to pass. You know, these prophecies. You know, people laughed, they scoffed, they said, you know, that these things wasn't going to happen, but now it's taking place.
Are you? I grew up Catholic. Like I said, are you Christian? Or?
Nah, Hebrew Israelite.
Hebrew Israelite.
That's right here. So, what's your nationality? If you don't mind me asking. Like,
No, I don't mind, man. We had some company over last night. We were kind of laughing about that because I'm German and Irish. A whole bunch of stuff.
So your father's Irish? Did you say your father's
They're
Irish?
both half and half.
Okay.
German and Irish.
What about his father?
My father's father?
Yeah, your father's father.
I don't know. He was
Irish.
like a World War II vet. Oh yeah.
No, there's a possibility you could be an Israelite. Because here we're
Well, isn't that who follows Jesus basically?
huh?
Isn't that who follows Jesus and doesn't the Jews are who reject Jesus?
Exactly. They rejected him, but there were some that accepted him.
Right.
The thing was, he wasn't for all Israelites. You know? He didn't come for all Israelites, even though the masses didn't receive him. But he wasn't coming to save all Israelites, though. He was only coming to save the elect, a few, you know. But he only came to save his people, which are these people on the sign right here, you know, from their sins. Because what sin is transgression of the law. And only these people on the sign right here were given the laws, you know. When we left out of Egypt, you know, when Moses led us out of Egypt through God, you know, into the promised land. So these are the only people that receive the laws. It's not everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like Christians are the most persecuted people in the world right now.
Yeah. You know?
That's interesting to me because who's Israelites and who's not. Because I always thought Jews were, but
because the word Christian just means follower of Christ. That's what the word Christian means. You know.
What do you think in the Bible when it talks about, just out of curiosity, when it talks about the synagogue of Satan?
Oh, that? Yeah. That's talking about the current Jews right now that you see.
Yeah.
Well, they're not Jews. They're Edomites.
Right.
You know, they're not the true people that walked across the Red Sea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they adopted, you know, they called it Judaism. So back in 740 AD, when we fled out of the land, these tribes up here, these top 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they fled in 70 AD. They fled into Africa. More than 1 million of them fled into Africa, fleeing Roman persecution, because the Romans besieged Jerusalem and took over Jerusalem. So a bulk of them fled into Africa, you know, amongst the other dark nations, you know. So during that time, the land was vacant. So back 740 AD, that's when the so-called Jews that are calling themselves Jews today, they went into Israel and they adopted into being Jews, you know. That's why they call it Judaism.
Like back in the Khazarian Empire?
Yeah, the Khazarian Empire.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many interesting conversations with people.
Yeah, even Arthur Koestler, a so-called Jew himself, he even brought out, you know, the history going back. He said that their bloodline doesn't go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So he even knew that those people are not Jews.
Yeah, and from what I've read, same idea, you know.
You know.
I don't know. It's a wild world, man. I mean, for me to even say the word Jew, I'm a neo-Nazi, this and that, blah, 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 but to criticize a country like Israel, there's no hatred of anybody there. It's just, it is what it is.
I mean, the people that are over there now, they don't belong in the land right now.
Right.
They don't belong there.
Right.
You know, that's not their land. Pretty much the Palestinians and them are fighting for a land that's not theirs, you know. But even though that you have some of our people over there, they're living like second-class citizens over there, you know.
I do.
Because it was prophesied that the Lord, let me bring it out real quick. Yeah, you don't mind taking a cigarette over there? I don't smoke. So.
What's that?
You don't mind taking a cigarette right there?
No.
Yeah, I don't smoke. So. So this is Isaiah chapter 11 verse 11. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall set his hand a second time, set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left in Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shirnon, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. See? The Lord said that he will set his hand a second time to recover. So we weren't supposed to go over. The people, our people that are over there now, they weren't supposed to be in the land right now, because the Lord said he would come down and bring us back. You know, because ultimately Israel will be destroyed by way of thermonuclear missiles through these other nations, like Russia, China. You know, all these other nations simultaneously are going to shoot nuclear missiles over there in Israel and here in America, you know. So that's why we weren't supposed to be in the land, because the land has to be cleansed first, you know. So that's what's going to happen. That's the prophecy that's going to take place, where these other nations will end up shooting nuclear missiles here in America and over there in Israel, you know. So that's why we weren't supposed to be in the land over there now.
Yeah, man, I get that. It's not often, like, I always show an interest because what I've read in the past growing Catholic, it seems like a small percentage of, like, Christians that really get it. Because there's, like, this Zionist Christians, right?
Yeah. Because ultimately, what those two countries have in common is the practice of homosexuality, you know. Those two, America and Israel, are the biggest high raters of homosexuality in all the world, you know.
What do you think about this question? Like, from what I've seen, it seems the United States has hijacked and has been for like 100 years by like the Bolsheviks, the Jewish revolutionaries, the bankers, and it saddens me that
That's because they really started and funded really, by the name, I forgot his name, but he was a so-called Jew. Not the Rothschild, but yeah, even that they have a hand. Yeah, they have a hand. But it was a Pacific Jew that I think his name was Haim Solomon, where he funded like wars that was taking place over here. Like the civil wars and everything.
Yeah, actually, all the Rothschild's sons funded both sides of the war.
Exactly. So they have a hand in taking over, because ultimately those are the people that run America.
Right.
Those are the people that run America because of the money system.
That's where I've had a few drinks in me, so forgive me, but
yeah,
I had this talk with a driver. A lot of my family, best friends.
So pretty much the United States is controlled by Zionist Jews,
And I feel like I don't know anybody more compassionate. I'm biased because I'm white, but than white people, and even proactive white people. Like if there's supremacists, it's like Jewish supremacists that write about it, that talk about being the chosen people and having us as slaves, the Gentiles.
That's right. Well, they call us Goyim. Right. They don't even call us Gentile. They call us Goyim.
It's up. And I'm not trying to say that like my.
But do you know what Goyim means?
I used to.
Yeah, it means cattle.
Yeah.
That's what it means. That's what they call us. That's what they look at us as, cattle, Goyim.
So let me ask you
because
this.
America's one of the America's their biggest cash cow. Because America sends billions upon billions of dollars back to Israel.
Oh, big time.
So
it's like what, 4 billion years?
4 billion, exactly. So America's their big cash cow. That's why they call us Goyim. But we're all slaves due to that Social Security number. Social Security number.
I hear everything. I know exactly what you mean, man. I do. I've had some great conversations with a lot of people, man. But it's always whether it's family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
Usually the older black gentlemen I meet understand more of this stuff, but it's cool having that talk, man. Because honestly, I'm somebody that is looked at just because like talking about gays. Mm-hmm. I'm a bigot, white supremacist, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not. And the people I know are not.
Yep.
But I'll leave you with that, man. Much love. That's
it's alright. But
I know it might strike a nerve because it's like so embedded in us.
Exactly. But America will be destroyed real soon. Like all these prophecies can simultaneously come to pass all at once,
Right.
The situation with this coronavirus that's spreading everywhere, just like I told you earlier, there's been one case of somebody testing positive for the coronavirus here in Boston, Massachusetts. So prophecy is definitely coming to pass. This thing is definitely blowing up. And ultimately America will be destroyed by a way of thermonuclear destruction in the near future. Because the Lord, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is coming up to set up the kingdom, which will never be destroyed. Because of his kingdom, it's not going to be no end. Let me just bring out that quick precept and you can go.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. Yeah. You've heard me out, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. Because I could talk about this stuff all night.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44, and it reads, and in the days of the king shall the Most High set up heaven and set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall be but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. You know, when it says that the kingdom shall not be left to other people, it's talking about other people outside of the nation of Israel. You know, other people that are not Israelites, that are Gentiles, they're not going to have part in the kingdom. You know, they're going to be as slaves in the kingdom. But of course, they're going to have their fair share after the so-called white man, who is Esau, serves his 1,000 years of slavery, and he's ultimately gets annihilated off the face of the earth. These other nations are going to have their fair share, but they're going to be tributaries unto the nation Israel, which are these people right here.
Are we supposed to be gone before the Jews?
Huh?
Are we supposed to be gone before the Jews?
No. What happens is...
Because I gotta say, that wouldn't be fair.
No, what happens is the so-called white people, they're going into slavery for the atrocities that they did against these people right here on the sun.
To the
You know?
Jews or to the
The so-called Jews, and also Edomites that are also, you know, they're going into slavery in the kingdom along with these other nations like the Chinese, the Japanese, the East Indians, you know, the Japhites, the Hamite, the so-called Africans, you know, all of them are going into slavery under these people right here on the sun, you know, because we're playing the slave right now in this kingdom. Because we went off, we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So this is why the Lord had set up our enemies over us to punish us for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Like, you know, the transatlantic slave trade, you know, when we came over there from the east over here, you know, and millions of us were dying.
The Jews,
yeah.
They sold it.
Yeah, they were the ones that funded that whole transatlantic slave trade. They funded the boats, yeah. So they had a major part in that. So they're going to pay for that, you know. These so-called Jews, they're going to pay for that.
Yeah, see, to me, it's hard to take when all I see on the news is like these Hollywood Jews. They're white men when they're sexually harassing the Jews when they do something great. Like, the divide between us, me, you, blah, 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 like, it exists, I think, because of them. I don't see why natural order would take place and we would have the things we respect on each other's cultures. Yeah, back in the day, you know, I have older black relatives. They had their own doctors, they had their own lawyers, they had their own sort of this and that. I'm not saying folks like patients, that sounds horrible, but yeah, freedom of association, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know that.
Yeah, but they're gonna pay for this, what they did to the nation of Israel. The so-called Jews and these Edomites.
Right.
Because a lot of, especially the North American Indians too,
Yeah.
which are also Israelites too, of the tribe of Gad, you know, because it was not just the so-called Negroes, it was also the Latin and Native and Seminole Indian tribes too that were oppressed and persecuted by the so-called white men and had their lands taken from them and their culture taken from them.
Yeah, I think I actually watched a documentary on that.
Yeah, so all these nations, they're gonna have to pay simultaneously, all at the same time. So,
all right, well, have a good night.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, it's a good
all
talk.
right, you too. But yeah, you know, let me just jump back to where I was. So this is the book of going back to the book of 2nd Ezra 15. I'm gonna start at 1 again. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 1. Behold, speak thou into the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to be written in paper for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not thy incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall doubt in their unfaithfulness, and behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hateful works are fulfilled. You see, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. What you have in the world today is nothing but wickedness and evil. You know, this is what you have in the world today, nothing but wickedness and evil that's being taken place. You know, murder, you know, the rise of homosexuality, you know, backbiting, backstabbing, you know, lies and deceit. You know, this is what you have in the world. This is what you have, what's going on right now. You know? And it's polluting the whole earth. You know? You got all these diseases. You know? Chemtrails in the air, pollution of the water. You know, pollution of the food, genetically modified food. You know, this is what you have right now. Wickedness.
Thanks, guys, for this.
So, I think I skipped the verse, but let me just start at verse 5. Verse 5, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The Lord is bringing them plagues, you know, the sword, the famine, you know, lack of food, you know, death and destruction. You know, people are dying from this disease, you know, this coronavirus disease. So ultimately, these are all the plagues of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that he's bringing upon the world, and he's using Esau, Edom, and these other nations to do it, because the Lord said that he ruleth in the kingdom of men. So these are the plagues that the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, is bringing to the earth. The sword, the famine, death, and destruction. And there's nothing nobody could do to stop these plagues from happening. To stop all these plagues from happening. There's nothing nobody could do to stop them. They're going to come and it's going to fulfill. Because the Lord said in because the Lord said in Isaiah 55 and 11, and it reads, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I send it. You see, the Lord said that his word is not going to return unto him void. Whatever the Lord says, you best believe it's going to happen. You know? You best believe it's going to take place. You know? Because the Lord's words are faithful and true. 'Cause Alright, verse 7. Thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more, a touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. You know, all the blood and all the blood that you said of the nation of Israel. You know, back then it's slavery. You know, now until now, with this police brutalities, you know, that blood is crying unto the Heavenly Father, and the souls of the just is complaining continually unto the Heavenly Father. So all that wickedness and all that evil, you're gonna have to pay for, Esau, Mr. E. All that innocent blood that you done shed, you're gonna have to pay for that. You know, you're gonna have to pay for it. Verse 9. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and I will receive unto me, all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led like a flock to the slaughter, and I will suffer them no more to dwell in the land of Egypt. You know, he's not going to suffer us to dwell in the land of Egypt here no more. Because what does that word Egypt mean? That word Egypt means bondage, you know. So we're in bondage here in America, and that Egypt is talking about here in America. Because the Lord is going to deliver the elect of us up out here, you know, in this land. He's going to deliver the elect of us out of here, you know. He's going to deliver us up out of this land, because this land is nothing, it's full of wickedness, evil. Because all you have in this land is nothing but a bunch of wickedness. This is what you have here in America. Nothing but evil and wickedness. And ultimately the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will destroy America by way of thermonuclear missiles. Because that's all you have here is nothing but evil and wickedness. But switching gears, you know, now you done had Brexit, you know, the UK that left the European Union, you know, and that's prophecy right there. Because, you know, from the head apostles on down, they prophesied that, you know, there will be that there will be the division amongst NATO and the EU, where some of these nations are going to end up leaving the EU. So why did the UK leave the EU? Because of economic certainty. Because they want to protect their economic future. Because you see what's happening amongst these the members of the EU. What's going on over there in France? You have nothing but riots going on over there. You know, yellow vests, you know, protesting because of their money, because of their economic situation. Such as Greece, you know. Over there in Greece, what you had over there, you had nothing but riots taking place over there in Greece. You know, people throwing cocktail bottles at the police because of their money situation, you know. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to trickle down to the rest of these other EU members, not to mention, you know, NATO. Because this is the prophecy. This is the 10 toes that it was talking about. And let me get that real quick. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 12. No, Salaki, chapter 2, verse 41. And it reads, whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the potters, clay, and part of it iron. You know? So you have part of it that's clay, and you have part of it that's iron. The clay means that it's weak. Because when you hold clay, and when you touch clay, it's soft, it's weak, you know? But when you hold on to iron, it's hard, you know? It's hard, you know? It's hard and it's stiff, you know? So that's what it means, you know? And it's talking about NATO and the EU, these EU nations, you know? And it's going into their economic situation. It's going into their money system, you know? So so let me read it over again. Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potters, clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron. For much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. You know, it shall be partly strong and partly broken, and this is what you're seeing. You know, division amongst the NATO and the EU, where you have, you know, the UK that left the EU, and what is that going to cause? That's going to cause a major economic shift amongst those nations, you know, by, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember you, you know, but yeah, so that's going to cause a major economic shift, you know, within NATO and the EU, you know, by them leaving and not being a member of NATO and the EU is the big thing, because that's going to ultimately collapse the system, you know, and eventually all these other nations, they members of the EU are going to follow suit, you know, because you already got problems over there in France with the yellow vests. You know, they're protesting over there. You know, there's already protesters over there in Greece, you know, in the Netherlands, you know, back 2011, where you had people protesting all over the world, causing their leaders to leave. So this is what's taking place. So that thing with the UK leaving the EU, that's a huge thing, because now there's division amongst these nations. Now there's division amongst these Edomite nations, and the Lord said, let me get that real quick. can't find that scripture now, but it says that, somewhere in the book of Mark, it says, if Satan be divided against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand? So this is what you have amongst NATO and the EU and the EU nations. You have division amongst them now. Now that the UK is no longer a member of the EU, that's division. And the Lord said, if Satan be divided against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand? So that Esau doesn't have much time now, because the UK plays a major part in the EU nations, amongst NATO and the EU. By them leaving, that's a major thing, because all these other nations amongst the EU are going to end up following suit, are going to end up leaving, and that's the vision. That's where you have the vision right there. So how can the so-called white man's kingdom stand now? How shall his kingdom stand now that there's division amongst them? Not only do you have division amongst them in this right here in America, amongst the Democrats and the Republicans, but there's also division amongst NATO and the EU. So this thing is all happening simultaneously, all at once, and it's only going to escalate and get worse. This is just the beginning, because pretty soon that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, will be implemented. But in order for them to implement it, they got to crash the current system right now, which is the petrodollar. They got to kill the dollar in order for them to bring that RFID chip into play, which is going to take place real soon. So it's only a matter of time before this thing gets implemented, before they try to implement this chip. Because what this coronavirus is just paving the way of them implementing that RFID chip, And ultimately that chip will be implemented, because that's the prophecy. That's one of the major prophecies that need to happen before America gets destroyed by way of thermonuclear missiles. That's one of the major prophecies that need to take place, that has to come to pass before this place ultimately gets destroyed by way of thermonuclear missiles. And now that we're in a new decade, which is 2020, you best believe that they're going to implement that. You best believe that they're going to implement that chip as soon as possible. There you have it. You got a lot of goots wearing that mask now, But ultimately, this coronavirus is going to spread, It's going to spread like wildfire throughout, the United States of America, So this is only the beginning of this coronavirus. And like I said before, somebody already had tested positive in Boston, Massachusetts, that somebody had tested positive for the coronavirus. It's already been one case. And I won't be surprised if they'll find any 20 other cases here in Boston. As fast as this virus is being spread. This thing is being spread like wildfire. So this is the book of Revelations 13 and 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bonds, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell lest he have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You know, that's going into that RFID microchip. You know, because if you don't have that RFID microchip in the right hand or in the forehead, you know, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You know, you're not going to be able to do anything unless you have that mark in the right hand or in the forehead. You know, you won't be able to buy, nor you won't be able to sell. But the thing is, if you take that chip, this is what's going to happen. So this is Revelations chapter 14 verse 9. And it reads, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worships the beast or his image, or receives his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. See? So if you take that chip and you receive that image, you know, you're gonna have to taste of that, you're gonna have to drink of that wrath. You know, with fire and brimstone, which is that which are the thermonuclear missiles that's gonna rain down from the heavens. You know? That's what you're gonna have, that's what you're gonna be looking forward to. Thermonuclear missiles. You're gonna take part in that death of the thermonuclear missiles. That's gonna be your future if you receive that chip. You know? And I believe, you know, through the Spirit, you know, by them unleashing this virus is gonna pave the way for them into making people take that chip. You know, disease warfare, quarantine. You know, straight up the disease warfare. Because this is what's happening, you know. 2020 started off with a major bang, you know. Not to mention the killing of that top Iranian official, you know, Qasem Soleimani. You know, that was an act of war right there that the United States done did. You know, that's an act of war by killing a top Iranian official.
So what do you know about Soleimani?
Soleimani?
Who was he?
He was a top. He was a commanding general of the Iranian army.
Did he do any acts of war in the last 30 years?
Did he do any acts of war?
Worthy of being thrown?
Oh, excuse me?
Did Soleimani do any acts of war worthy of being thrown? I'm a pacifist. I'm a peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes two sides to make a war.
Exactly.
Was he a peacemaker, Soleimani?
Pretty much he was defending his people against ISIL, you know?
And when he blew up the barracks, killing 250 Marines before you were born, was that an act of peace? Overture, a joke, peace grant?
So who are those Marines that he killed? U.S. Marines?
Lebanon didn't want to get involved in the Palestinian issue. It was Europeans, Muslims with money used to vacation in. Muslims, Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians, everybody minded their business and lived in peace. But Arafat and Jordan started sending Palestinians into Lebanon, and Iran started funding Hezbollah to play the fool and play Jews against Christians, Shia against Sunni. They disrupted, and this guy became the leader of the revolution to mess up peaceful Lebanon. And Trump, I didn't vote for Trump, but he took him out.
Yeah, he took him out.
It took him how many years to get rid of old Bin Laden, who was a CIA asset?
Absolutely.
The U.S. government, so Saddam creates enemies and then takes them out. But
So
this
what
guy was not controlled by the CIA.
Exactly. He was defending
Took
his
him out.
people. Well, what was the reason
Well,
for
who is his people? Who is Soleimani's people?
the Iranian people?
And you know what? The Iranian people, after the Ottoman Empire, they're not Arabs.
Yeah.
They didn't like the fundamental Turkish Empire to force them to cover their women and act stupid. And they liberalized and modernized after the Ottoman Empire collapsed. And fundamental Islam, when Jimmy Carter fucked up, took over, and now we have idiots like Soleimani blowing up people. And guess who they kill? They kill their own people. If you're a moderate Muslim in any Iraq or any Mideast country, you get
But who said that he was
decapitated.
killing his own people?
In Iran, in Iraq, in every major Muslim country, they don't like moderate Islam. They say you're not a real Muslim. If you don't want Sharia law to dominate the world, in the Isa or the Jesus in their prophecy, when he comes back, anybody that doesn't submit will be decapitated. That's a real religion of
But
peace.
why are we hearing this narrative about these other nations?
You got your eye on my bag?
Yeah. Why? Yeah, I see. But why are these other nations, like where you hear in the media, you hear about, like, for example, like, what's his name? Muammar Gaddafi. You know, you hear about him. They said that he was killing his own people. Bashar al-Assad, you hear on the news, he's killing his own people, you know? But when you really look it up and do the research, you know, that these leaders are actually helping their own people.
All right. I'm a researcher. I'm an investigative conspiratorial journalist.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 50 years, so I won't say I'm smarter than you. I'm older than you, and I put thousands of more hours than you have. So what's your pitch for something? Why did they take out Gaddafi?
They took him out because, you know, he wanted to start the gold.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they took him out, you know? Because by him introducing the gold standard was a threat to America's petrodollar. You know what I mean?
See, you didn't go to college. That's why you know this.
You know?
If you go to college, you won't learn the truth.
Exactly. They don't teach you the truth in these schools. They teach you how to think their
When I
way.
dropped out of BU, broadcasting and film, they said, you see boogeymen everywhere. I said, we haven't had investigative journalism since Woodward and Bernstein. All lies.
Yeah.
Fox News, CNN, it's all controlled by corporations.
Exactly. By these so-called Jews.
Bullshit.
You know? These so-called
Thank
Jews.
you.
You're welcome.
I'm Jewish.
You're Jewish?
I don't know which tribe, but if I get more money in DNA, I can find out. DNA, a lot of 12 people that black Muslims say, oh, that's white man's technology. No, blacks spent 10 years researching it, as well as white.
Yep.
Dogs are 99.9% the same. Humans are 99.9%. Black Muslim with their white devil seed, that's not scientific.
Exactly, yep.
You know what Malcolm X said when he came back from Mecca? If Elijah Muhammad and his predecessor, the Fard, claimed to be God in the flesh, if they went to Mecca with that BS, they would have been decapitated.
Yeah.
All right, let me listen to you. You recording this? I'm
Yeah, I'm recording it. You know?
I'll shut up.
So pretty much, you know. But you know about the coronavirus, right? You know, there's just been a case right now that somebody tested positive in Boston, Massachusetts for the coronavirus.
Well, I'm going to the shelter and say, look out.
Yeah.
If it gets in there, look out.
Yeah.
2 nights ago, there were 7 people within 4 rows of me coughing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look
yeah.
out. You know what they'll do? I told the staff, all the staff will go running out of the building, and people will start shooting the homeless on the street.
Exactly, yeah.
There's too many of us.
Exactly. But you know that Trump, he done ordered a ban from Chinese from entering the country, and it's going to be started tomorrow that Chinese
What
will
do you
not be
think
allowed.
about that?
Huh?
What do you think? Is that a racist thing to do?
Pretty much, you know, what he's doing is, you know, you had the board of the board of health directors, you know, coming out saying that we got to protect citizens
What do you
from
think
these
about
diseases.
that?
But
Is it racist?
is it racist?
Trump.
Trump is a racist by nature. He's a racist
Let
anyway.
me tell you a couple things you don't know. Because I'm a researcher. He is so racist. When a black singer had a home invasion and family was killed, Hudson, he let her in Mar-a-Lago stay for free. She's got her head on straight. If he's such a racist, why would he help this black woman out?
You know, why would he have black, you know?
He let her stay in luxury housing for months in Mar-a-Lago to breathe and get the pain out. That is the most racist thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Person knew. He wasn't president. He was just a businessman. Let me tell you another racist thing he did. 1985, the old money people in Palm Beach didn't want him to buy Mar-a-Lago because he had dirt under his nails.
Yeah, exactly.
They're inherited billionaires.
Exactly.
They got their noses up in the air. So you know what? He was so smart. Here's the racist thing he did. He bought a lot between the beach and Mar-a-Lago. He threatened to build 3 12-story buildings to block the view, to knock the value down. Say, what the fuck? Let him do it. So for 10 years, he built that luxury palace. And guess what this racist did? To this day, nobody in Palm Beach will let Jews, any type of Jew, Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews, spiritual Jews, they're so racist. He crossed the line and let Jews join if you got the money. Guess who else he let? Gay couples. When Muslims sold off buildings, he crossed that line. And the most racist thing he did, he let blacks join. All 17 of his country clubs, blacks can join. See, I'm a researcher. Google it.
Not to mention another racist thing he did with these kids over there, you know, in Harlem, where that case was that, you know, a woman got raped up there, and he fought and he went on, I believe, on Larry King, and he said a racist statement that we gotta keep those savages in the jails when they were innocent. You know what I mean?
He's not a perfect man.
You know, he's not what a racist.
He's not. Excuse me. He let blacks join at all of his country clubs.
I know, but
he
also he
housed a
made
black
racist
woman.
comments.
I've made racist comments. You know
what I'm
why?
saying?
Because I'm African American, Jewish, Irish, French Canadian, Spanish, Dutch, Wampanoag,
Yeah, we know.
Narragansett mother, Nigerian, African, Malian, Asiatic father. I do stand-up comedy, and I tell black jokes, Jewish jokes. I'm a racist. Because I'm proud of all my mixtures.
There ain't nothing wrong being a racist.
We're gonna let this race thing go.
I mean, that's just gonna continue. Because ultimately, these so-called Jews, they're gonna have to go into slavery. You know,
300
what they did.
Black Lives Matter chanters when I go to a synagogue last spring. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. I got my afro. I don't put the yarmulke on until I get to Brookline. Black Lives Matter. I started to chant. White Lives Matter. I'm black and I'm proud. White Lives Matter. I'm black and I'm proud. They quit chanting. You know what they are? 3/4 of them were white socialists, Bernie bum-kissers that hate capitalism, the most wealth-producing thing in history. Socialism produces equal poverty. Capitalism produces jobs, opportunities, cell phones, nice cars. Socialism does not produce good cars. There's not a socialist car in the world.
No.
We love our cars.
Yeah, exactly.
You see this technology? That's capitalism.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But, you know, eventually these Black Lives Matters or whatever, they're funded by these so-called Jews behind the scenes.
George Soros, the so-called
Yeah.
Jew.
Yep.
You know where he got his money? In World War II?
Yeah, World War II.
They were ratting out real Jews
Exactly.
and busting up poor countries' currency.
Yeah.
All right,
this
you're well
country-
informed.
Yeah, this country is ran by so-called Jews. They run this whole country, through the
And to God
economics.
be the glory, they're afraid of this Negro.
Exactly. Well, they're
You know
going
why?
into slavery anyway.
2002, I went to Harvard, Hillel, with so-called Jews running. They called the Harvard police to throw me off campus for the fourth time.
Exactly.
And he said, we know who you are, but we can't do anything about it.
Exactly.
I've been trespassed 10 times at BU with the so-called Jews.
Yep.
Rabbi Posner, he kept calling in 98, 99, 2000. He kept calling the BU police to throw me off campus.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't want me on campus.
No, because you know the truth. But with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakwakadash.
Whoa, how do you keep all that name?
Great Millstone at Ruwell. And peace and salutations to all the Yakim out there on the highways and byways, those in this road abroad all around the world. I want to say Kwam Yasha Allah and Abba Babal.
Oh, that's good. So you got my